All right, guys, let's talk about conditional formatting. This is the best. I used this all the time when I was in the classroom, especially with grades. So let's look at a grade set here. And when you just look at these like this, it's not super easy to see where our good and our bad stand. Now we can sort this with the largest to smallest, and now we've got our A's, our B's, and our less than stellar grades in a row. But sometimes we need this to stay in alphabetical order by last name. So the way you can make these stand out, well, if they have to stay in alphabetical order, but you need your struggling students to stand out a little bit, you can use conditional formatting. So I'm going to highlight this column here. I'm going to go up here under the Home tab to conditional formatting, and we've got a bunch of different options. So highlight cell rule is a really easy one for this type of data, and I want to highlight my students who need additional tutoring, let's say. So I'm going to say less than. Now it gives me I think it's the mean for that numbers, that range there, but I'm going to go ahead and say less than 70, and it automatically is going to fill light red fill with dark red text. Okay, so now I can see right away that the students that need additional tutoring, they're sticking out right here, and that's really helpful right there. Let's get rid of that. I just Control Z to change that. Let's look at some different ways that we can display this information as well. So you could do. Here's another fun one real quick. Let's say top 10%. You want to find out, hey, you want to set a rule. If you're in the top 10%, you get some kind of reward. Well, it's real easy to set that top 10%, and red is a negative connotation. So I can drop down that and go with green. So if you're in the top 10%, your grade's highlighted green. And so there you go. So Jennifer Prince, you would get the candy bar or whatever. All right, I'm going to Control Z to get rid of that again. Let's go back. Data bars is fun. So it actually puts a little bar graph on top of the number inside the columns. I really love this one as well. It really helps out visually. This is great with budgeting as well. Seeing of how the different cells compare. They've got solid and gradient depending on how cool you want it to look. Another easy one is color scales, and it gives you a preview in here for the way it looks. So in this particular case, green for high numbers, red for low numbers. So this is a really good one for grades, for example. So these students that have green grades, I don't have to worry too much about them. Students that have red and orange need significant amounts of remediation. And then these students with yellow are borderline. Maybe they just need to come in and redo the assignment, but I don't have to spend a whole lot of time with them. That kind of stuff makes it really easy to see under the conditional formatting. Now, in addition to that, you also have icons. Now, this is fun. Oh, I forgot. Let me Control Z and get rid of that, because you can layer these, as you just saw. You can layer these different conditional formatting rules on top of each other. Up, down, sideways, that kind of stuff. You've got these different. I'm not sure when or where you would use these. Maybe it's something that's really useful for you. Little flags. This one I've used before in the past, where check marks for good, and X's for people who need to do some extra work. Very helpful. You can do star ratings here, where the more the stars filled in, the better the rating is. Like cell phone tower strength, circles, all sorts of fun stuff to visually indicate the data without having to make a table that sticks out. So that's you don't need a separate table that sticks out in front of it. Now you can also do conditional formatting to help you with searching. So let's say we're looking at all of this contact information here, and we want to know which one of these people is from Denton? Now, this is a relatively small amount of data, so we can just zip through this real quick and see that Tim is from Denton. But we can highlight this and use conditional formatting to make that jump out. So this first one highlights cells by rule, and we can hit text that contains. Okay, so it automatically grabs the first cell in that group. I can hit backspace and get rid of that and say, I want to see cells that have Denton in the name, and we can do all sorts of different things. You can even do a custom format, and it'll give you some options there. Let's do yellow fill with dark yellow text. So now that stands up. Oh, okay, right there. That is the cell that has Denton in it. So that makes it a lot easier to find that information, and I hope that is helpful.